Good day, classmates, and good day, sir. I will share to you my assigned topics, which are instructional leadership, supervision that makes a difference, and instructional leadership as proactive administrative process. Tips of this presentation are the following: relate to the 4 areas of strategic interaction, explore the characteristic of a proactive instructional leader, and share valuable experiences as an instructional leader. As an instructional leader, the principal focuses less on doing things right and more on doing the right things, the things we know can help improve student achievement. Supervisory activities of instructional leaders that have been found to promote increases in student achievement are presented using the 4 areas of strategic interaction identified by Smith and Andrew in 1989. Principal as resource provider, instructional resource, communicator, and visible presence in school provide a framework for examining the supervisory behavior that enables the principal to go beyond routine management and make a difference in student achievement. In studies supported by the Brookings Institution, Chubb and Moe in 1990 concluded that although student achievement is not affected by school resources or by state or local policy, achievement is influenced by what school principals do. Successful schools are characterized as those that have a clear sense of purpose, strong instructional leadership, and ambitious academic program. The first of the 4 broad areas of strategic interaction is resource provider. As a resource provider, the principal knows the strength and interests of each adult in the school and can assign people roles based on this information. The effective principal has the ability to marshal personnel, building district, and community resources to achieve the vision and goals of the school. The principal becomes a broker of people with resources that will help them provide instruction. The teachers in the school are the school's greatest resource. The effective resource provider, knowing the talents of those supervised, can provide the professional staff with options by the way they are placed in the organization. As a school head, you should know how to utilize your resources in school, especially its human resource, which are the teachers and school staff. Only when faculty feel secure in their environment will they be willing to take risks or help the resource provider in nurturing creative approaches to change. The second is instructional resource. As instructional resource, the principal performs a role more closely associated with the narrow, more popular definition of supervision. In this role, the principal conducts supervision in a clinical fashion. The principal knows the technology of teaching and learning, knows what good instruction entails, and can accurately assess a teacher's effectiveness based on the criteria of good instruction. The principal can help teacher analyze what enhances student success. The principal knows how students learn and what types of interaction will help them to achieve, and the principal do not only diagnoses good teaching but also provides the teacher with feedback that enables professional growth. Other behaviors encouraged by principals who act as instructional resource include using staff members as avenues for instructional growth. Hunter, 1985, emphasized the importance of using faculty meetings as mini staff development sessions for improving instruction and ultimately student achievement. B. Observing or being sure that all teachers are observed daily. C. Conferencing with teachers about their teaching. D. Helping teacher understand and analyze data collected during classroom observations. E. Encouraging peer coaching activities. F. Requiring goal-setting activities of all staff members. And G. Annually evaluating school progress towards goals and setting goals for upcoming year. As instructional resources, principals see the performance of the school as both a function of good organizational processes and achievement of expected outcomes. Principal as an effective instructional resource is to assess the school's ability to meet curriculum goals by interpreting information from sources such as standardized or criterion reference tests. Principals should be prepared to interpret and communicate results for faculty and community and to develop interventions designed to identify strengths and minimize weaknesses. And the third one, principal as communicator. In order for teachers to understand the principal's conception of what the right things are, the principal must ensure that those things are clearly communicated to them. Leaders, as noted by Benes and Nanos in 1985, have the capacity to relate a compelling image of a desired state of affairs, the kind of image that induces enthusiasm and commitment in others. Effective leaders have a strong sense of direction for their organization and skillfully employ strategies to communicate that direction to both organization and community. Thus, the principal must communicate to staff the following fundamental notion about children and schools. A. All students can learn and succeed. B. In schooling, success breeds success. C. Schools can enable students to be successful. And D. Clearly defined learners' outcomes determine instructional programs and decisions. The daily activities of the principal who is an effective communicator include articulating the vision for the school in 3 different ways: to individuals, to small and or large groups, and to those affiliated with the school either internally or externally. Communication of the vision is proposing as described by Sir Giovanni, 1984. Proposing is a process that emphasizes modeling important goals and behaviors in such a manner that it signals to others what is important in the school. Johnson & Johnson's 1989 suggested that relationships and interactions among people are central to schools. The interaction patterns among students, between students and teachers, among teachers, between teachers and administrators, and among administrators determine the effectiveness of schools. An effective communicator must develop the skills needed to evaluate and deal effectively with others. The effective instructional leader helps teachers do the right things by using structured listening, that is, listening by posing questions that elicit feelings and beliefs, rather than simply accepting at face value what has been said by the teacher. An Effective Communicator by Smith and Andrews, 1989. Speaking and writing clearly and concisely, displaying good organizational skills in written and oral communication, carefully planning staff meetings, publicizing and often referring to school goals, giving written recognition of accomplishment to students, staff, and parents, and articulating the mission of the school in such a way that individual staff members can describe the mission of the school and their principal's expectation for their performance. And the fourth one, principal as visible presence in school. Woody Allen has suggested that 80% of success is showing up. To be an effective supervisor, the principal must indeed show up. The principal's presence is felt in every area of the school's activities. Being in touch for the effective principal does not mean producing memos or position papers. MBWA, Management by Wandering Around. Peters explained it succinctly as the vehicle that makes possible the teaching of values to every member of the organization, listening, facilitating, and teaching and reinforcing values. Thus, MBWA is the technology of leadership. You are out of time with the times if you are in the office more than a third time of the time. Face-to-face, informal verbal exchanges are prepared by effective principals as a way to advance the vision, mission, and ultimately the culture of the school. To create a visible presence in day-to-day activities, Principals must model behaviors consistent with the school's vision. A. Live and breathe their beliefs in education. Organize resources to accomplish building and district goals. Informally drop in on classrooms. Make staff development activities a priority, and most of all, help people do the right things and reinforce those activities. We must think of the act of supervision as the sum of the personal interactions between and among teachers and the principal that lead to the improvement of instruction. And for my second topic, which is instructional leadership as a proactive administrative process. This topic focuses on some characteristic of instructional leadership as a form of proactive administrative behavior. Proactive administration, viewed as a central ingredient of instructional leadership, is built on several fundamental characteristics. These characteristics are the following: awareness of personal beliefs, understanding organizations, instructional leadership as an ongoing process, sensitivity to alternative perspective, consistency of personal behavior, and ability to understand people. Number 1 is awareness of personal beliefs. Value-based conflicts cannot be avoided in any aspect of life, particularly in the world of school leadership. However, the negative aspect of such pressures can be greatly reduced when leaders have a clear and consistent understanding of their own fundamental views about the issues associated with the life and times of schools. Some principals and superintendents invest their time observing teachers in their classrooms, working with the staff to develop curriculum, or talking directly to students. The value orientation can have a considerable impact on the extent to which some people are viewed as instructional leaders rather than building managers. Instructional leaders must resolve value conflicts with his own fundamental views about the issue and not with his own belief. Developing fundamental views to the issue are better resolved by being observant or aware to your teachers, students, and staff. And for the second one, understanding organizations. Proactive leaders are able to anticipate the consequences of actions because they understand the nature and characteristic of organizations. They know that certain outcomes are likely given the structural components of schools as complex organizations. The action of the proactive leader will be based on knowledge of social science theory and other existing information on organizational behavior. As a proactive instructional leader, in decision-making, you must know the underlying principle, theories, and organizational behavior. Although knowing these theories, concept, and idea does not guarantee an effective performance or solution to the problem or challenges arises in the organization. Third, instructional leadership as an ongoing process. An instructional leader does not take on that role only at certain time during the school day or year. Instead, a person establishes the role of instructional leader by providing that leadership on continuous basis. All decisions are guided by the desire to ensure that the quality of instruction is indeed the most important activity taking place. To be a proactive instructional leader, you must continue to learn or grow to expand your ideas and experiences in improving the quality of instruction. Fourth one, sensitivity to alternative perspective. Effectiveness in an educational leadership role requires considerable sensitivity to alternate perspectives, even if those perspectives are alien to one's personal values. The effective leader needs to recognize that alternative perspectives are present and supported in the real world. Change efforts must consider such perspective. Many principals continue to view the role as managers, striving to keep the ship afloat, not to change it. They believe that teachers are responsible for instruction, and the role of principal involves carefully avoiding intrusions into the teacher's domain. To be a proactive educational leader, you must be sensitive to the alternate perspective on what an instructional leadership is and learn from them. Fifth one, consistency of personal behavior. Instructional leadership must come from a strong internal and continuous commitment to the improvement of teaching and learning activities in schools. Only the leader that has a corresponding and sincere commitment to make the improvement of instruction the highest priority guiding all actions. Anything less undetermined the administrator's influence in the school or district. Walk your talk. Be consistent not only in words but also into your actions. As a proactive instructional leader, you must be a living example to your teacher. And the last one, ability to understand people. Effective instructional leaders know, respect, appreciate, and understand people. A reference to the importance of a strong commitment by leaders to understand the people with whom they work. The best ideas and the greatest intelligence and vision cannot succeed without a corresponding understanding of people. Not the traditional statement about the importance of good human relation skills, but rather a reference to the importance of a strong commitment by leaders to understand the people with whom they work. A proactive instructional leaders know, understand, and appreciate his or her people. Effective school administrators look at the responsibilities holistically, not as a series of tasks and responses to the various emergencies that arise in the life of a school or district. Proactive leader must develop a total understanding of what is being done, to whom, and with what likely consequences. Instructional leadership is not a neutral or reactive process. Rather, it is a process that changes people and their organizations for the better, a process that is a critical responsibility in schools. Leaders stand out, good leaders succeed. Great leaders make a difference in the world. Thank you for listening. I hope you learned something today. I'm Shana Crisamil Alacson, your presenter.